Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome in. Today is Wednesday, March 25th. Happy hump day to each and every one of you. It's still cold as shit here in New York City, so I'm hoping to warm you all up with a few laughs, maybe even a winner or two. That would be nice. Though, don't hold your breath on that part. As always, I am your host, Casey Halpern. Today we've got a packed show. We're going to talk some Sweet 16 hoops, the Houston Open out on the PGA Tour, and, of course, some Yankees baseball. It's opening day. Well, opening night, as the kids now like to say it, on Netflix. My beloved Bronx Bombers are going to San Francisco to the Bay Area to face off against Arson Judge's former team, the San Francisco Giants. So I'm very excited to have the Yankees back in my life. I'm excited for them to ruin my emotional well-being for the next 6, hopefully 7 months. But let's get into it. Let's chop it up a bit. Let's start with the Sweet 16, March Madness. So 16 teams remain, 4 games tomorrow, 4 games on Friday. But before we get into the matchups, a little quick state of the union on kind of my tournament betting so far. I think transparency matters, and also because it's quite frankly embarrassing. But going into the tournament, I highly prefaced, I don't know college hoops. It's not my strong suit here. So if you are coming to watch my show for picks, don't let the door hit you in the ass. This is not a pick show. I mean, you could tell them, I'll make the case for them, but I highly recommend against that. You come for the banter, not the picks. But yeah, day one of the tournament, I came out swinging. My biggest bet in a while was on St. Louis plus 2.5 against Georgia, which I gave out on the show last week with Ryan. That was an easy winner. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Josh Schertz, the coach of St. Louis, made that team look like the San Antonio Spurs. I was feeling myself after that win. I'm not going to lie. It was a very, very good Thursday. I went up a really good amount. I thought I might have an actual future in hoops handicapping. No, I'm kidding. But then, as the great philosopher Mike Tyson once said, everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. And Friday afternoon at around 2:00 p.m. Eastern time during the first game of the Friday session, I got punched in the mouth. Santa Clara plus 3.5 was as brutal of a beat as it gets. It was tough. Watching that away buzzer beater go in with the refs failing to acknowledge, I forgot the coach's name, Santa Clara's coach's timeout was tough. And then obviously in overtime when it was a 2-point game with 57 seconds left to go, Santa Clara's shot was blocked and Kentucky recovered it. And there was a massive, massive travel, which the refs also blatantly ignored. Which led to a fast break dunk, and that was it. That was the rest of that. It kind of set the tone for a horrible, horrible Friday and weekend. I then had Vanderbilt money line on Saturday, which was a disaster. Tanner's 3-point heave at the end. Oop, I don't know what the hell this alarm's for. Tanner's 3-point heave at the end, rimmed out, was halfway home. And then I had Miami plus 8 on Sunday, which was just another disaster. The hits just kept on coming. For whatever reason, Miami decided they had to foul Purdue while they were down 8 points with 12 seconds to play. 12 seconds, down 8, yeah. Just let the clock run out. It's as simple as that. Just take the push. I would have been fine with that. And honestly, probably would have broken even on the weekend. But nope. The idiots on Miami just had the foul, and it was nice watching my bets go up in flames in real time. I gave back all of my day one profits and then some. And this, my friends, is quite frankly why I don't bet the hoops. But here I am, ready to give out some a few nuggets and maybe some leans as we head into the Sweet 16. And I say this with every fiber of my soul. Please, 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 please do not follow my picks. I'm worthless when it comes to 18 to 22-year-olds trying to put the ball in the hoop. This is not my strong suit. I'm someone who just basically watches Wisconsin basketball, Big Ten basketball throughout the regular season. Then when conference tournaments kick up, I start throwing a little shekels on them and look like a fool. You don't come here for my hoops picks. That's all I'm going to say. I can't reiterate it enough. Now, just some interesting macro nuggets as we kind of head into this round. It's been chalk madness. In the round of 64 and 32, closing favorites are 39-9 straight up and 29-19 against the spread. The 39-9 straight up mark is the fewest underdog upsets since 2018 and tied for the second fewest over the last 20 years. Favorites are 29-19 against the spread, which is their best mark since 2008. That's not a typo. We are in this chalk madness era. The Cinderellas are staying home and the blue bloods are eating. And quite frankly, this modern nil era has completely changed the parity dynamics of March Madness. The rich are just getting richer, but there is a silver lining in this. If the cream is truly rising to the crop, the Sweet 16, the Elite Eight, the Final Four games should be absolutely electric. The best teams are still standing, and we should be in for a treat these next 2 weekends, and we should get some really, really strong matchups. And my beloved Wisconsin Badgers were one of the few teams that got bounced as a humongous favorite. But look, the Big Ten Conference continues to impress, and this might surprise some people, but despite the fact that a team from the Big Ten has not won a national title since Michigan State in 2000, the Big Ten has been printing money in the tournament in recent memory. In the nil era, at least for the last 3 years, the Big Ten is 11-5 against the spread in this year's tournament, the best mark of any conference by far. And over the last 3 years, they are 34-19 against the spread, which is by far the best by any conference. Men lie, women lie. The Big Ten is the tournament of champions, I guess, conference of champions, whatever they call it these days. But Big Ten showing out. Let's run through a few of these quick matchups. Arkansas, they were bet down from 9.5. They're now at, I believe, 7.5 at some shops. John Calipari, 9-3-1 against the spread as an underdog in the NCAA tournament. That's a real number. I kind of like the Hogs getting the points here. I'm a Darius Acuff believer. He's been sensational. He's probably going to be the number 2, number 3 pick in the draft come June. Who knows? Might be number 1. I'll take Calipari and Acuff getting 8 points. It seems like you could still get. Let me just double check that. Yeah, 8 points right now at ProfitX. So you could still get Acuff and the Hogs at +8. The East region, this is just incredible coaching matchups alone. These coaching matchups should be worth the price of admission. Rick Pitino versus John Shire, Dan Hurley versus Tom Izzo. I mean, just a murderer's row of coaching talent on one side of the bracket in just one region. Those are just 4 studs, 3 Hall of Famers between Hurley, Pitino, Izzo. It doesn't get better than that, folks. If you're in Washington, D.C. this weekend for the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 games, you are probably in for a treat. The UConn Huskies opened as a 1.5-point dog and have now been all the way bet down to a 1.5-point favorite, a 3-point swing across 0. So if you didn't get them at +1.5, I advise you don't take the Huskies at -1.5. But where am I leaning? Again, don't follow these. I'm probably going to take Arkansas with the points, Michigan laying the points because the Big Ten has earned the benefit of the doubt. And I really just think Alabama is as overrated as they come. I think that they probably should have – they definitely shouldn't have covered against Hofstra. It was a 5-point game with 5 to play. It ended up being a 20-point rout due to some idiotic decisions by Hofstra. Taking a horrible technical foul with like under 2 minutes to play. So the game got out of hand pretty quickly. And I'm going to take Texas. Texas is now a 7.5-point dog. You could get them best odds plus 7.5 minus 106 at no vig. I like Texas here. I just hate Purdue. I think Purdue is fool's gold. I know everyone's been riding that wave, but Purdue, obviously, as I talked about at the top of the show, they should not have covered against Miami, and they honestly probably should have lost that game. Purdue shot 55% from the field and like 60% from three. Something's got to give. They got to regress to the mean here. I don't think they can continue to shoot 55% from the field, but who knows? Maybe they can at some point. I'd like to think regression is coming. I hope. It will probably make me go broke, but that's the beauty of March. At the end of the day, I do not have a lot of conviction on any of these games, and the fact I'm telling you that should probably be the most valuable information I give you all day when it comes to betting on college basketball. Do not bet on college basketball with me. Just go do your own research. There are a lot of sharper people out there who bet on college basketball every day and watch these games. Hold on. I'm just putting out a little tweet here. That's my 2 cents. I'm not your college basketball guy. Now, when it comes to golf, also probably don't follow me, but I know a shit ton more about golf. All right. Let's talk some golf. Let's talk some Houston Open. It wasn't a great Valspar for your boy. I think 2 of my 4 picks actually didn't make the cut. We'll talk about one of them in a bit. But the PGA Tour heads to Houston for the Texas Children's Houston Open at Memorial Park Golf Course. We are officially 2 weeks away from the Masters, which is great. So this could be the last tune-up for a lot of guys on tour. And more importantly, this is actually a massive event for guys like Ricky Fowler, Will Zalatoris, and a bunch of others who still need to qualify for Augusta. So the pressure is going to be on this weekend for a lot of these guys. And pressure does funny things to golfers. Now, let's talk a bit about the course and conditions. I got boots on the ground in Houston. My friend's girlfriend, his family's from there, so I did some digging. It's not rained in Houston in quite a bit, so the course is going to be fast and firm. It's also going to be a sauna out there. We're talking 85-plus degrees for close to every day of this tournament and near record-breaking temperatures on Friday, actually. So the caddies better make sure their guys are properly hydrated and get enough electrolytes in them. I'm not kidding. These conditions are going to be brutal. It's going to be hot. It's going to be muggy. You're going to see some guys just whitting it out there on the back nine on Friday afternoon when it's hot, steamy, and you got that Houston humidity also factoring in. I don't know. It's going to be a bomber's paradise potentially. Last year, the course played, I think it rained before, if I recall correctly, and obviously that made it a little easier. But since Memorial Park began hosting this event in 2020, the formula for success has been pretty consistent. We're looking for three skill sets, right? These skill sets have been pretty predictive of success here at the Houston Open. 1, distance off the tee. As I said, it's a bomber's paradise. Memorial Park features some of the most forgiving landing areas off the tee on the PGA Tour. So you'll trade the value of driving accuracy for just raw distance. Bomb it out there and worry about the rest later. 2, approach play, specifically irons. This is where guys separate themselves here. Elite long iron players have historically thrived here. And 3, putting, obviously. But it's worth noting because the greens at Memorial Park can be tricky. And obviously when the heat cranks up and the course firms out, the touch around the greens becomes even more critical. We want guys who check at least 2 of those 3 boxes. All 3 is obviously a dream, but that's probably a tough ask. I mean, the odds board for this tournament is just absolutely hilarious right now. There are guys I like who I just cannot bring myself to bet at these numbers, and the prices got significantly worse once Scotty Scheffler withdrew. I also realize I'm not sharing some odds at the moment. I should probably pull up the board here just to give you a glimpse of what I'm talking about, so bear with me. All right, can everyone see my screen? Look, the odds are absolutely vile here. Like, vile. I mean, I love Chef Minwoo Lee. I was on him last year at the Houston Open and won, but plus 1475, give me a break. Nikolai Højgaard at 27-1. Kurt Kitayama at 26-1. I mean, Ricky Fowler at 26-1 in the year 2026 is ludicrous. These are not bettable numbers. If you didn't bet into some of these guys before Scotty withdrew, please do not bet into them now. I mean, even my guy, Michael Thorbjornsen, I took him at 40-1 on Monday morning before Scotty withdrew. And he's now already down to 32-1 at DraftKings. He's down to 25-1 at some shops. He's also now the most tipped golfer on X, so he's as good as dead. But 40-1 is absolutely crushed. That number is no longer available. So, but again, he's the most tipped golfer on X, so has no shot of winning this weekend. That's the only bet I have taken so far today for this tournament. But we're going to head on over to see if we can find some value on some other guys. So we're going to open up the BetSperts rabbit hole, which we go through every time here. I don't know why it's not loading, so give me a second. All right, it's giving me some trouble here, so we're gonna remove it. But I'm gonna use it in the background. We're gonna look a little bit further down the board here, right? I'm looking to look, as I said, we want guys who mash it off the tee and are either great approach players or really good with their putter. I'm going to buy a bit low here on the 2023 U.S. Open winner Wyndham Clark at 48-1 after a missed cut at the Valspar last week. I was on him last week. And look, his putting has been horrific recently, and I'm not going to pretend that doesn't concern me. But Wyndham does check a few of these boxes we talked about. And he does have some slight value, according to Data Golf. They like him at 47-1, and I'm okay betting him at 48-1, get a little plus expected value there. Wyndham does have some really good history here at Memorial Park. He actually tied for 5th place last year. And as I said, the course does reward distance and long iron play over driving accuracy, and that plays right into Wyndham's game. Hopefully he has a long session with Julie, his sports psychologist, before he tees off on Thursday. The man could use it. But then again, who among us could not use a good therapy session? So I'm going to buy a low here on Wyndham Clark. I'm going to take him at 48-1. I would show you his course history at Memorial Park, but for whatever reason, it is not working currently on the rabbit hole. But I'll show you Data Golf, what they look like, what they like at the moment. There's not really much value left on the board. It's the odds board this weekend is just disgusting. Just sucked bone dry here. Sahith Theegala and Tony Finau are also two guys who both intrigue me. Maybe we'll sprinkle on them. Sahith is fresh off his TGL victory last night, where his club, Los Angeles Golf Club, won season 2. And here's a fun one. 6 out of 10 winners on the PGA Tour this season have been TGL guys. So perhaps Sahith or Wyndham Clark, who is also a TGL guy, make it 7. I'm going to take both of them. I'm probably going to sprinkle Tony Finau as well. That's going to be my card. I want to keep a light card this week. I've got a wedding. I won't be watching as much golf as I'm accustomed to, but keep it a light card. So we'll probably look at Sahith, Wyndham Clark, and Tony Finau, all outright bets, and probably play the each way on all of them. And of course, Michael Thorbjornsen. Got to give it up for Marty Thor. We'll take the each way 1 to 6 places over at Bet Rivers on all of these guys, as well as their outrights. But as I said, going to try and keep it light this week. So 3 or 4 golfers. I don't know if I'll bet Tony Finau, but definitely Sahith, Wyndham, and obviously I already bet Marty Thor. I would love to take Brooks Koepka, but everyone and their cousin likes him this week, and the guy literally helped design this course. And at his current odds let me bring this back up. His current odds are, you can get 25-1. 25-1 is the best in market. Some other shops have 22-1. Data Golf has him as a true odds of 55-1. So you're getting horrible, horrible value if you buy into Data Golf's methods. I can't take Brooks at the price of 25-1, unfortunately. But hopefully Wyndham or Sahith can bring it home, or Marty Thor, even though Marty has 0 shot being the most tipped golfer on X this weekend. But hopefully we can find the winner, because we could really use one as we head into April and major season. It's coming quick. We're 2 weeks away. I did take a few nibbles at some bets already on the majors. I got Matt Fitzpatrick at 65-1 and 45-1 respectively 2 weeks ago and last week before he won. I took those already. Those odds have plummeted to 30-1 and 28-1 at some shops. So I'm going to take my closing line value and put those tickets on the fridge because Matt Fitzpatrick has absolutely zero chance of winning the Masters this season. As much as I would love to see him win, he has zero shot. Zero. Zilch. Matt Fitzpatrick, just cross him off the list. He is not winning the 2026 Masters. I also did take Jon Rahm. I had 100% profit boost on Fanatics, so I took his odds from 12-1 and got him at 24-1. Statistically speaking, Jon Rahm has actually been the best golfer in the world the last 3 months. So since the calendar turned to 2026, Jon Rahm has been the best golfer in the world. Besting Scotty Scheffler. That is true by strokes gained and all accounts. And if you look at Data Golf, they'll show you. But Jon Rahm is seemingly the best golfer in the world. So I'll take my shot with him at 24-1 with the Fanatics 100% boost. So those are two Masters bets I am on. None of those will win. Those will be CLV tickets. They'll go right on the fridge. I could already picture my friends making fun of me in the background, how I'm just talking about my the great odds I'm getting, that even despite the fact that none of these will turn into winners. That's life, unfortunately. I can't predict the future. I can only just set myself up for the best possible outcome. And look, I'll take 65-1 on Fitzpatrick and 24-1 on Jon Rahm any day of the week, because when you go look at the market right now, you'll get 28-1 and 12-1 respectively. Again, Matt Fitzpatrick has zero shot of winning the Masters. Jon Rahm, he's already won here. I believe it was 3 years ago. So maybe he'll get his second green jacket, but we'll see. He's playing the best golf in the world currently. But last but not least, the 2026 MLB season starts tonight, and my beloved New York Yankees are back. I'm back to being emotionally hostage to 162 games of baseball, tuning into the TV every night. So I'm excited about that. But here's where we stand. Yankees basically running it back with a team that got absolutely throttled in the AL Divisional Series last year against their rival, the Blue Jays. 93% of their plate appearances are returning from last year, as are 74% of their innings pitched. The core is intact. They added Ryan Weathers from the Marlins in the offseason to bolster the rotation. I'm actually very high on Ryan Weathers. I have been for a while. He's been a mainstay on our fantasy team for the last year. He's got nasty, nasty stuff. The key words there are the key with Ryan Weathers is if he can stay on the field, though. So if you're a Yankee fan, that probably doesn't sit well with you, because health has been a big bugaboo of this team for a bit. Beyond Weathers, the additions were marginal. And then there's the elephant in the room, Garrett Cole. He's recovering from Tommy John surgery and should be ready around May or June. They missed Cole badly last year, and quite frankly, their starting pitching is the reason they were defeated by Toronto in the postseason. That's all to say. I don't expect Garrett Cole to be his old self immediately. Prior to his injury, his velocity and his whiff rate were both declining. We'll see how he looks upon his return, but just manage your expectations there. Obviously excited to get him back, though. If we could get a healthy Garrett Cole and a healthy Carlos Rodon back, though, I will say, if the pitching staff does stay healthy, which is a humongous if the Yankees stay healthy, it's a humongous if. The Yankees potentially have the best staff in the American League. This is also the deepest Yankees roster in a long, long time. I will say that. While they didn't add any impact bats, the lineup is still loaded and the depth pieces are legitimate. The results speak for themselves last year. Their offense was a juggernaut all regular season long. I know it didn't perform up to snuff in the ALDS, but at the end of this day, it is the deepest Yankees roster in a long time. Pending health, hopefully they finally find a way to stay healthy for a full season. They should have one of the best rotations and lineups in all of baseball. But I still have absolutely zero faith in the manager, Aaron Boone. I just want that on the record. But I'm going to choose to be cautiously optimistic as the season gets underway. At the end of the day, this is a team and a roster that I firmly believe should win the American League as long as they can stay healthy. I Truly believe that. Whether they will or not is a completely different conversation because this is the Yankees and nothing with this franchise has proven to be simple over the last 17 years. But the talent is absolutely there. The roster is deep. And opening day is the one day of the year where every fan base gets to believe this is their year. So hopefully the Yankees surprise us and potentially win their first World Series since 2009. They haven't won since I was in 9th grade. I actually remember telling my parents that I didn't want to go to – they offered if I wanted to take off from school to go to the ticker tape parade, and I was a little bitch and probably just didn't want to miss school. And said that there'll probably be another ticker tape the next year. It's been 17 years, so shame on me for not going. Also, this whole Netflix baseball production for opening night is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. They're having all these different personalities from Bert Kreischer to wrestling personalities to Jameis Winston to the Hand from a Wednesday show. What the fuck? No, who is asking for this stuff? Just keep it simple, stupid. My God. And also, it's opening day, not opening night. I don't know why we're opening at 8 o'clock Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific on Netflix, but I didn't make this decision. Money talks, obviously. Excited for the Yankees to play baseball again. Hopefully they don't hurt me too bad. And look, I'm cautiously optimistic in this roster. It's deep. It's loaded. Health is obviously the big question mark. It's been the bugaboo for this team for quite a bit, and we'll see. Obviously, they could not do much right in the postseason last year. The pitching just absolutely failed them. The bats went cold, and we'll see what happens. It's a long season. I'm going to be cautiously optimistic until further notice, and that's going to do it for today's show. Sweet 16 tips off tomorrow. The Houston Open starts tomorrow, and the Yankees are back tonight. It's a great week to be a sports fan. One of my best friends is getting married this week, and very excited about that. If you tail any of my picks that I mentioned and they lose, I apologize in advance, but I did warn you multiple times on the record. So, and if they do win, you are very welcome. So thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate every single one of you. Enjoy the games, bet responsibly, have fun, and as always, carpe diem. So let's not take ourselves too seriously today. Have a great rest of your Wednesday, and I'll see you all next time.